Hello, I'm Cynthia Arthur. You're watching News at 10. The government has decided to increase the number of roadblocks nationwide in conjunction with Deepavali celebration tomorrow. Senior Minister for Security, Dato Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, said authorities will also patrol and monitor residential areas to ensure that the people comply with the stipulated SOP.
The senior minister explained that the measures taken are actually the same as the ones conducted during Aidilfitri celebration in May.
Samalah ya SOP-nya, iaitu kalau di kawasan PKPD hanya keluarga di dalam satu rumah itu sahaja yang boleh merayakan hari Deepavali ini, tapi di kawasan PKPB jiran-jiran mereka juga boleh dibenarkan dengan syarat tidak melebihi 20 orang dalam satu-satu masa. Dan perintah kawalan pergerakan PKPB dan PKPD tidak membenarkan rentas negeri dan rentas daerah.
He also said only 30 people are permitted to perform prayer ceremony at the temple at any given time from 7 a.m. until 12 p.m.
After receiving numerous complaints through the National Security Council MKN, Senior Minister Security Dato Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the government will now allow 3 people from the same household to travel in one car. He said the decision was reached after much consideration, as well as the fact that e-hailing riders and taxis have been allowed to ferry 2 passengers.
Mesyuarat hari ini bersetuju untuk memberikan kelonggaran, iaitu 3 untuk satu kenderaan, ya. Dan ini samalah seperti e-hailing, taksi, iaitu 1+2. Kalau e-hailing dengan taksi, driver campur dengan 2 penumpang. Jadi oleh kerana kita dah benarkan 1+2 dalam e-hailing dan kenderaan awam yang lain, taksi, maka kita samakan dari segi jumlah, iaitu 3 untuk setiap kenderaan.
Over the past 2 days, Malaysians and politicians have lambasted the ruling mandating just 2 people in a car following the reintroduction of the CMCO in most of the country.
Police detained 379 individuals yesterday for breaching the Recovery Movement Control Orders SOP. Senior Minister for Security Dato Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said out of the total, 370 individuals were issued with compound fines, while 9 violators were remanded.
Di antara kesalahan ingkar SOP termasuklah kes-kes biasa yang saya laporkan setiap hari, iaitu tidak memakai pelitup muka, gagal mematuhi arahan pergerakan fizikal, rentas daerah, rentas negeri di kawasan PKPB, gagal menyediakan peralatan, merekod butiran diri dan lain-lain lagi.
The senior minister added that a total of 59,626 inspections have been conducted yesterday in order to ensure compliance among the people with the SOP. On Op Benteng, he said 27 illegal immigrants and 1 skipper were detained yesterday, apart from 8 land vehicles which were seized during the operation.
New COVID-19 cases in Malaysia jumped by 4 figures again today, with the Health Ministry recording 1,304 cases, bringing the cumulative total number of cases in the country to 45,095. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah, with 11,822 active cases. Sabah continued to record the highest local infections with 556 cases. The country also reported 1 new COVID-19 fatality, bringing the country's death toll to 304. Meanwhile, he said 4 new clusters were reported in Sabah, Sarawak and Melaka in the past 24 hours. In Sabah, of the 2 new clusters detected, 1 is in Sandakan, the Bongaya cluster with 46 cases, while the other is the Jambatan B cluster with 53 cases.
Kluster kedua ialah kluster Jambatan B. Kluster baru ini melibatkan di daerah Sandakan di negeri Sabah. Kes indeks by kluster ini iaitu kes ke-20,105 telah dikenal pasti positif COVID-19 hasil saringan individu bergejala pada 17 Oktober 2020 dan telah dimasukkan ke Hospital Duchess of Kent, Sandakan. Saringan kontak rapat dan komuniti setempat telah mengesan sebanyak 52 lagi kes positif. Kesemua kes telah dimasukkan ke Hospital Duchess of Kent, Sandakan dan pusat kuarantin dan rawatan berisiko rendah Dewan Kompleks Asukan Sibuga, Sandakan.
He added that the Abel cluster in Kuching has now recorded 14 positive cases, including 10 new cases, while the BMU cluster in Jasin, 69 individuals have been screened and 10 were found positive and 59 negative. 900 patients were declared recovered and discharged from hospitals today, bringing the tally to 32,969. Police seized 126.85 kilograms of methamphetamine worth 5 million ringgit following raids in Serdang Perdana on the 10th of November. Selangor Deputy Police Chief DCP Dato' R. Junaidi Mohammed said 5 people, including a military personnel aged between 25 and 31 years old, were also detained.
Speaking at a press conference at Selangor Police Headquarters in Shah Alam today, Dato' R. Junaidi said all suspects have also been remanded for 7 days. He added that police seized several vehicles, including a Ford Mustang, during the raid, which was registered to the wife of the military personnel.
Sindiket ini, kita percaya dia telah menyeludup dadah jenis amfetamin ini daripada negara jiran di utara. Seterusnya dibawa melalui negara pantai timur ke pantai barat dan berdasarkan risikan dan juga siasatan yang kita buat, terdapat kemungkinan destinasi seterusnya adalah kepada sebuah negara jiran yang lain, mana bukan untuk pasaran tempatan.
He said the drugs seized could have supplied 253,700 addicts, adding that initial investigations revealed that the syndicate had been operating for more than 5 months. Dato' R. Junaidi said one of those detained also claimed to be a Dato' Sri, but police believe the suspect was using a fake title and police will investigate the matter further.
Police have crippled a group of robbers known as Aib Gagap Gang through a series of raids conducted in Melaka Tengah following a report on a stolen motorcycle on the 5th of October. Melaka Tengah District Police Chief ACP Afzanizar Ahmad said 7 suspects aged between 19 and 32 were arrested, all of which are believed to be involved with 13 motorcycle thefts in the district.
Explaining further, ACP Afzanizar said police found 9 motorcycles, 8 frames as well as several stolen bike components during a raid at a house in Peringgit Jaya. He added that urine test conducted on the prime suspect, who is believed to be the group leader, showed that he was positive for drugs. He also has previous criminal records related to theft, housebreaking and acts of violence.
Aib ini merupakan perancang utama, ketua kumpulan, dan ianya melibatkan kita berjaya menyelesaikan 13 kes. 13 kes yang melibatkan semuanya kes kecurian motosikal dan 1 melibatkan kecurian sport rim motosikal. Hasil soal siasat yang dibuat, dia menyimpan motosikal curi ini di salah sebuah rumah transit. Sebuah rumah transit yang berada di kawasan Peringgit Jaya.
ACP Afzanizar also said that the bike components were advertised through social media and delivered to customers using courier service. The loss is estimated to be worth about 40,000 ringgit and the case is being investigated under Section 379A of the Penal Code.
6 more individuals, including a telecommunications company officer, are in remand for 3 days beginning today to 15 November in connection with a corruption case involving fraud using short messaging service SMS. They are detained to help with the investigation of the case following the remand order against 6 other individuals prior to this.
Magistrate Shahwira Abdul Halim issued the remand order at the Putrajaya Magistrates Court following an application by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC this morning. This brings the total number of people who are in remand in connection with the case to 12. According to an MACC source, the 6 individuals comprised of 5 men and a woman, all aged between 34 and 49, were arrested yesterday after giving their statements at the MACC headquarters in Putrajaya. All of them are suspected of giving and receiving bribes in return for a list of prepaid customer details. The telephone numbers were then used by a content provider of fraud syndicates by charging subscription fees through SMS without the customer's knowledge and consent. The case is being investigated under Section 16 of the MACC Act 2009.
Aspects of the new normal and the standard operating procedure SOP to contain the COVID-19 pandemic should be emphasized at all flood relief centres. Yang di-Pertuan Agong, Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah said he is also confident that the Pahang administration would be adequately prepared to deal with the floods and remind all parties to work together to ease the people's burden during the monsoon season.
His Majesty also told mosques in Pahang to hold regular Solat Hajat to seek protection for the state from untoward incidents. Al-Sultan Abdullah said this at the end of a briefing on preparations to tackle the floods in Pahang, which was given by Pahang Police Chief Datuk Seri Abdul Jalil Hassan in Kuantan today. Tengku Panglima Raja Tengku Amir Nasir Ibrahim Shah Al-Sultan Abdullah also attended the briefing. His Majesty thanked the state government and related agencies for making thorough preparations for the floods, including by presenting the latest data on the hour-long briefing, which began at 10:30 a.m. at Istana Abdul Aziz. Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Wan Rosdi Wan Ismail and State Secretary Datuk Seri Dr. Salehuddin Ishak were among others present at the briefing.
On a related development, all flood relief centres in Perak have been closed and victims allowed to return home as the flood situation has improved.
The Perak Disaster Management Committee Secretariat said the only flood relief centres in the district of Larut, Matang and Selama that remained open since yesterday has also closed. According to the Secretariat, the relief centre at Sekolah Rendah Agama Rakyat Ngah Ibrahim, Al-Barakah, which had housed 15 evacuees from 4 families, closed at 10 a.m. today. All evacuees from Kampung Batu Tujuh, Cangkat Baru, Matang were also allowed to return home following the receding of the floods which struck the district yesterday.
Water supply to more than 1,200 areas which were affected by the shutdown of 4 water treatment plants, LRA, in Selangor due to pollution has been fully restored at noon today. In a statement, Pengurusan Air Selangor Sendirian Berhad expressed appreciation to all consumers who have been patient in enduring the unscheduled water cuts after the Sungai Selangor phases 1, 2 and 3 and Rantau Panjang LRA were shut down on Tuesday.
According to the statement, the consumers are advised to continue to be prudent while consuming water and obtain information on any water supply disruption from the official communication channel of Air Selangor. Previously, an odor pollution akin to solvent was detected in Sungai Selangor, causing the stoppages of the 4 water treatment plants. The water disruption affected Kuala Lumpur and the districts of Petaling, Klang, Shah Alam, Gombak, Hulu Selangor, Kuala Langat and Kuala Selangor.
Coming up next, Malaysia's 3Q GDP narrows due to ongoing pandemic. Malaysia's economy posted a smaller contraction of 2.7% in the third quarter 3Q of 2020, surpassing consensus estimate of negative 4.6%, as well as the gross domestic product GDP contraction of 17.1% in 2Q, supported by improvements in all sectors, continuous normalization of economic activities, and higher demand from key trading partners. Although the economy is in a technical recession, it has shown signs of recovery as the manufacturing industry rebounded by 3.3% in 3Q as compared with a decline of 18.3% in 2Q due to strong electrical and electronics E&E production activities.
Bank Negara Malaysia Governor Datuk Nor Syamsiah Mohamad Yunus said recovery in export performance was driven by E&E exports given the strong demand of work-from-home equipment and medical equipment, resulting in current account on the balance of payment registering a higher surplus of 56.1 billion ringgit or 7.1% of GDP during the quarter under review. She said the outlook is still subject to downside risk, whereby the resurgence of COVID-19 cases could impact the global growth.
However, the risk to growth from these resurgences is not expected to be as severe as the magnitude of the contractions observed in the second quarter.
She said this during the virtual 3Q GDP press conference today. On the domestic front, Nor Syamsiah said the containment measures in affected states could pose some challenges to economic growth and activities. The growth for next year, Datuk Nor Syamsiah said, will be driven by continuous stimulus measures announced in the National Economic Recovery Plan Penjana and Budget 2021, which includes tax allowances, investment incentives and the implementation of various projects, as well as the National Digital Networking Plan, Jendela, a digital infrastructure plan to improve the digital connectivity in Malaysia.
On another note, Datuk Nor Syamsiah said the blanket moratorium will continue to be provided to individuals affected by the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. She said help remains for those who are in need and borrowers have the choice of a more tailored solution to suit their financial needs.
Explaining further, she said a 3-month blanket moratorium have been provided to those who have lost their jobs, especially in the tourism sector, and extension will be given if they are unemployed.
This misconception that without a blanket moratorium, borrowers in difficulty will not get help. This is simply not true. Bank Negara Malaysia has worked with banks to ensure a smooth transition from the blanket moratorium. And for borrowers who are industries that have been more significantly affected, such as tourism, some banks have also offered to extend the moratorium by 6 months.
Datuk Nor Syamsiah also said that the applications for all targeted repayment assistance before 30th June next year will not appear on the Borrower's Central Credit Reference Information System, CCRIS records.
Fuel prices of RON 97, RON 95 and diesel will increase across the board from 14th to 20th November. The weekly fuel price takes effect midnight tonight.
The Finance Ministry said that RON 97 petrol would be priced at RM1.92 per litre, up by 1 cent from RM1.91 per litre previously. The price of RON 95 petrol will also increase by 1 cent from RM1.61 per litre to RM1.62 per litre. The price of diesel will increase 6 cents from RM1.68 per litre to RM1.74 per litre. The weekly fuel pricing mechanism was reintroduced on the 5th of January 2019 under the Automatic Pricing Mechanism APM. Under this system, fuel prices are announced every Friday and remain in force for 1 week.
Malaysia has called on the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, to continue to enhance cooperation in the information and communication technology ICT sector with South Korea to further accelerate digital economy in the region. Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said cooperation between South Korea and ASEAN in the propagation of digital economy would provide the technology-savvy masses with the means to engage in digital economy despite the current economic slowdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
As ROK is highly regarded as a world leader in the provisions of information and communication technology, goods, and is making use of the digital economy to further drive productivity, ASEAN is very keen to adopt some of ROK's best practices.
He said this in his intervention during the 21st ASEAN-South Korea Summit, which was held as part of the 37th ASEAN Summit and hosted by Vietnam via video conference due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. The Prime Minister also hoped that signing and implementation of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP, would send a strong message on the importance of strengthening regional economic integration and further spur economic growth between ASEAN and South Korea.
That's it from us this evening. In our top story, number of roadblocks increased in conjunction with Deepavali tomorrow. Join us for updates at noon at 12:30 tomorrow. I'm Cynthia Arthur. Happy Deepavali and thank you for watching.